Polly.
And good morning to all of our friends joining us for another Bible story today. Miss Nancy, do you remember our story from last Sunday?
Oh, yes, Miss Polly, I do. It was a really good story. Yeah.
Well, let's see if you can answer some of my questions from the story. Who was in the story?
Some of the disciples, and of course, Jesus.
Right. What were the disciples doing?
Oh, I remember they were out fishing. I remember they were out fishing, but they weren't catching any fish.
No. So who talked to the disciples from the beach?
Well, Jesus, of course.
Jesus was on the side of the beach.
Right.
Yeah, okay. What did Jesus say to the disciples?
He told them to throw their nets over on the other side of the boat.
Was that a good idea? Did they think it was?
Not at the time.
It's kind of crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because they'd been fishing.
Yeah.
What happened when they threw their nets over there?
Their nets became full of fish.
And then what did they do?
Well, then they brought the fish in and they had breakfast with Jesus.
Miss Nancy, you did a great job remembering the story from last week.
I know.
You listened well.
Yes.
Today's story continues where we left off last week, standing on the beach with Jesus. So visualize Jesus standing on the beach and the disciples out in the water, catching the fish.
Okay. So, Miss Polly, what is our story called this week?
Today's story is Peter's commission, and it is based on John 21, verses 15 to 17, found in the
New Testament.
All of our stories have been from the New Testament.
That's because they're all about Jesus.
That's right.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job.
Miss Polly, you said Peter's commission. What does the word commission mean?
That is kind of a hard word.
Yeah.
Let me explain it. Commission means to appoint or assign someone to do a special job or service. It means to put that person in charge of something.
Oh. Okay, I think that makes sense. Let's hear our story. Maybe it'll make more sense. Okay.
After the disciples brought their nets full of fish onto the beach and greeted Jesus, they began to eat breakfast together. As they were eating, Peter, who loved Jesus very much, was thinking back to the night Jesus died. He felt very sad because that night he had pretended he did not even know who Jesus was.
I remember that Peter denied Jesus 3 times and said that he did not know him. I remember the rooster crowed, cock-a-doodle-doo, 2 times. Now, Peter didn't know what to do because he knew he had disappointed Jesus. So he wondered if Jesus would still love him. Would Jesus give him a second chance? Miss Polly, there's something that I'm very confused about. Sometimes I read in the Bible that Jesus calls Peter, Peter.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes Jesus calls him Simon Peter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very confused. Is this the same person or are they different people?
Well, that is kind of confusing. You know how sometimes you have nicknames?
Yeah.
Your name is Nancy, but maybe they call you something else for a nickname.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of like with Peter. Let me tell you about it.
Okay.
Peter's full name was Simon Peter.
Okay.
And sometimes Jesus would use Simon instead of using Peter when he talked to him. So yes, Peter, Simon Peter, and Simon are all the same person, like 3 nicknames.
Okay. Thank you for clearing up my confusion.
You're welcome.
Get very confused.
I know
easily.
you do. I know you do.
All right.
Okay, let's go ahead now.
Okay.
This is the picture now we want to show where Jesus and Peter are talking. And we have a picture of a lamb on there.
Yes.
And you'll understand why as we go on with our story.
Okay,
let's begin.
Okay.
After they finished eating breakfast, Jesus called Peter aside and said to him,
Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?
Yes, Lord.
He said.
You know that I love you.
Jesus said,
Feed my lambs.
Again, Jesus asked,
Simon, son of John, do you love me?
He answered,
Yes, Lord. You know that I love you.
Jesus said,
Take care of my sheep.
The 3rd time, Jesus said to him,
Simon, son of John, do you love me?
Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him the 3rd time,
Do you love me?
He said,
Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you.
Jesus said,
Feed my sheep.
Jesus asked this 3 times, and 3 times Peter told Jesus he did love him. And Jesus told Peter 3 times to
Feed my sheep.
This meant that Jesus was giving Peter a very special job of taking care of people and working for the church.
Jesus knew Peter would be good at this. Jesus asked him 3 times to
Feed my sheep.
probably because Peter had denied knowing Jesus 3 times, and now he could make up for that and have a second chance.
This is God's way of showing Peter and all of us that he loves us and has special plans for us. Even when we make mistakes, he always forgives us and lets us have a fresh start.
Miss Nancy, what do you think about that story?
Oh, Miss Polly, I love that story.
Why, Miss Nancy?
Well, because sometimes I like to think in my mind that Jesus is my shepherd and that I or we are his sheep. I know that sheep need so much care and attention, but the good shepherd is always there to protect his sheep. Just like Jesus will always be there to guide and protect me if I just choose to follow him.
So, Miss Nancy, are you telling me that we are sheep needing help and Jesus is our shepherd, ready to protect us?
Mhm.
But now, because Jesus is in heaven, we are to be shepherds and help other people.
Yes, Miss Polly, that's right. Remember our Bible story several weeks ago about being a servant
Right.
and serving others? This is what Jesus wants us to do.
Because that told us that no matter who we are or what the job is to do, we should serve other people.
That's
It
right.
doesn't matter if we're very, very important or very smart or just a little person. We can help. We can always serve other people.
We can help.
Miss Nancy, that all makes sense. Peter was commissioned by Jesus to serve others. Now Jesus wants us to do the same.
Miss Polly, could we close with a prayer?
Sure, Miss Nancy. Let's do our prayer clap. 1, 2, 3, clap. Dear God,
Dear God,
thank you for forgiving me.
thank you for forgiving me.
Thank you for loving me.
Thank you for loving me.
Help me to help others.
Help me to help others.
Help me to be kind.
Help me to be kind.
Amen.
Amen.
You know what, Miss Nancy? The music
Time
says it's
to
time to
say
say goodbye to
goodbye.
our friends.
Yes, and remember, friends, go to secondchurch.org/children and you can download the coloring sheet that you saw earlier and color it later
And
on.
we hope to see you next Sunday.
Bye. Have a
Bye.
good day. Bye.